Me so jeni me na me asemesi na mom de koye ye be kwa kopie mu omanfo bi e kire se wonom nkrata bi wo mo sere se nkrahye bedwafo nhwe na wonom eni hu dwuma efama wo mu Anuachi yebeko enkrofo amanso na Vatican ana ba beto dwa se Pope Francis ya na woyade no afede nyame adom wo moyi no afri ayasabia Ensema wodo ka ho ne yede ebrɛw se kasebo na yemfa seda ema promise herbal ebusua wo pe eye enura ahodo na wo de akwa akwhwe ho yade a promise herbal na meka mfa ma osebowura ha na wo banko ade a wo benye bi Newman College Department of Nursing tonsa e de afrɛw wo mo ye courses ahodo no a BSc Nursing top up nyina wo mo ye bi eno nti ubowura ho no mo a nursing adesua won so betumi asua bi Express Group e de etufa akọ enkrofo amanso sanso na bosheba electricals se enkane ahodo bi a wo pɛ no oba bosheba electricals ahwe ya wonsa ebekebi medi de nana Afia Broni papa bi afei ensem no enchiremu enie Yes, Kasiabona Siana, Yedi Chemu, a woman penny, John Dramani Mahama, na Suye, and there one asrafu, a share, Emma, Comochichi, echo so. Na Nina say, armed forces, a year council, no, a womushia, not to say, one more Eddie Jumasono be, and no more and woman penny, John Dramani Mahama. Wajina Simpi so, now what dear futu Emma, womuch say, one more has said, a Juma womu, yes, sir, asrafu, no, womudi ni dear, ebeye, now for womudi obu so, a dear camo, Nanya. Semina mi wotumi ebi wo nso kra keta hyehyɛ proye kankan dwirimudi adokoro wo mo setam saa ne mani nyina wo mo nyimfiri ho na wo mo nya adwuma ne se ne yese ene se ne yefata sebe ya asrafo yebo wo mo din a ye de din papa ebeka ho ama wo mu.
Strength of any military is built on the foundation of discipline, integrity, and ethical leadership. It's not just the weapons or the size of an army that define its effectiveness, but the character, morale, and professionalism of its personnel. Ghana has long prided itself on having one of the most disciplined and respected military forces in the world, and we must never take this for granted. As members of the Armed Forces Council, we must ensure that the highest standards of ethical conduct, transparency, and accountability are maintained within the ranks of our armed forces. Corruption, misconduct, and abuse of power must have no place in our military. Your leadership must inspire confidence, fairness, and trust, both within the armed forces and among the Ghanaian people. A strong military is one that earns the respect of its citizens through service, integrity, and unwavering dedication to duty. To the gallant officers, men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces, I want to take a moment to express our deep gratitude for your service and sacrifice. Your unwavering dedication to duty ensures that our dear nation Ghana remains peaceful, stable, and secure. Many of you have left your families behind for extended period, serving in difficult and dangerous environments. You've responded to national emergencies, provided humanitarian assistance, and defended our borders against threats. Indeed, several of you have paid the ultimate sacrifice. The government recognizes these sacrifices and will remain committed to supporting you in every way possible. Your welfare, professional development, and operational needs will always be a top priority.
Ewo dwumedi na se eno omampani abedi ekire Professor J na Opoku Agyeman enso ede to dwa se new council of members mpanyimfo yeyi womo ewo armed forces edwumakuo ni mu no wogidi se ba womo ba no womo so de omo nimdie ene womo nyansa ebe hyehye ne ma se de be ya armed forces womo adwuma no ebe konkan.
To assure him that as members of council we will rise to the responsibility and ensure that his confidence is not misplaced. I think this is very important. As a council, we accept to serve diligently, loyally, with patriotic zeal to reset the Ghana reset the Ghana Armed Forces too, to ensure that we have peace, we have stability for our beloved nation. So we want to ensure that the Ghana Armed Forces retain, sustain, and even extend its reputation, which is established globally. We are very proud of our armed forces, and we know that they have even further to go. Congratulations. And this is also the time to remember those who've come before us and all the roles they have. Our pledge is to ensure that we strengthen and even add on to what they have established, which is very admirable and which we celebrate.
From one ye ni chemo ewo Kane Bank of Ghana Governor Yera Addison. Na sure ye beka ya na wotwetwe mu e na ebeto odwa se eye abambofobia boy run fie akwakoye set. Na ekowie akire no ni sika 10,000 Ghana cedis ayira. Eno achi na yire jewelry sahodro a wode siesie no ho eno so ayira. Na asem yi ba ye no amanfo akebia ene Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayene wa friends emtrofo hye di atodwa se sansemo a ebeto odwa se abambofobia kopapa ni fie akwakofa na niema fa ni sika no enye nokre afa di atosumi no wo se watete se yeso omo de omo atumi ne koye ene ewre kire mu no so nya nokre ebra wo mo kono na omo kura tumi krata ya efre ne se warrant ene omo de ko fie hokoye sa search no enu nti se ne MPP fo ne si kansem no enya de anokre bia ewo mu.
A search of the governor's house based upon credible intelligence that we received. And I was the one who applied for the warrants and got them issued by the High Court for the searches to be conducted. Why is that a raid? Are some people now above the law that we cannot conduct a legally sanctioned, search, constitutionally sanctioned test? A search in their houses? Maybe they are above the law. Okay, but no one is above the law in this country. We are all subject to the Constitution. And in terms of the Constitution, under Article 18, all right, there are limits to what you can do by saying that you cannot, your house should not be searched. So we obtain warrants. And if the media wants, I can make those warrants available. Okay, so there was no raid on his house, and there was nothing illegal or unconstitutional about what we did. But they are deciding to bastardize me and to bastardize the operatives of the national security by even saying that during the raid, which for me wasn't a raid, it was a constitutionally sanctioned search, they stole 10,000 Ghana cedis. All right. Now, what an insult, okay? And that is what my Deputy Attorney General was referring to when he said that, the constitutional immunity granted to MPs does not mean that they should abuse that immunity and then, defame individuals or officials who are conducting normal business, normal public business, all right? And ladies and gentlemen of the media, let me tell you, we have a recording of Addison and what he said about the raid. So if Afia Markin, the Honorable Minority Leader, is daring me, we'll make that recording available.
And what Yera Dominic Ayene, Attorney General, Esa Tuaso, and was say already a friend of Kwabene Dubois. Openina Koye, a year Director General National Signals Bureau, NSB. Now, what also crown woman and TSA, Sikebia, we dear Nuneska Ketua, 39 million choppable Ghana cedis, and one also, Afan and Sansia, one also no, one more yen Mushishimun to be anywhere, was so say Emra Ewa Ghana.
On February February 6, 2020, Mr. Dubois then transferred an initial amount of 27,100,000 Ghana cedis, that is from the National BNC's operations account at Fidelity Bank to the private BNC account at UMB. Official documentation on the transfer revealed that the amount was for the payment of cyber defense system software. which the national BNC was buying from ISC Holdings in Israel. Mr. Dubois, in effect, transferred the money from the national BNC to his private company, the private BNC. Importantly, after the initial transfer of the 9.5 million Ghana cedis, which was the equivalent of 1.750 United States of American dollars from the private BNC to ISC Holdings, no further payments were made to ISC Holdings. A review of the transactions on the private BNC account reveals that after the payment of the 1,750,000, Mr. Dubois and his wife began applying the rest of the funds for their personal use, making transfers to local third parties. Since the difference between 49 million Ghana cedis being the money Mr. Dubois transferred from the bank account of the national BNC to his private BNC, and 9.5 million being the money he actually paid to the ISC Holdings for the software, ended up with him and his wife. That is to say that the sum of 39,462,480 Ghana cedis of taxpayers' money went into their private pocket.
Yada so ye gina sansem kroya emuna edom kuma ye wo mrahye bedwefie ene wo mo so kire se ensem a attorney general ora Dominica ye ne ka no wo mo so ka so mo gitumu a enye yie na ka me kwese papa yi wonye se tumi no wodi tumi no eye niema bi a ensem fata ade ni kwansa wo mo ye kra no wono mo eye ebi ni se wo mo ade o mo ahoden ebowura ye rade senfie na anu ye beka ya kenofori tanso wono so kra sa bubowura ni fie sa ntina se wo me de tumi no eye ne wo mo pe na wo mo kire mo anka attorney general de wadwuma ne se wonti bibia se a wo kokoto na koto a kirekirem na koto agina so etu anamo e wo se wotu enye wo ankasa e na odo tumi be ye ne wo pe.
Photographs circulating on social media clearly shows signs of destruction and ransacking. Hardly the marks of a lawful and respectful operation. If indeed a court-issued warrant truly existed, why was it not presented to Dr. Addison before or during the raid? Why was brute force used to overpower his private security? Why was the CCTV camera dismantled and taken away? Transparency is a hallmark that ensures lawful enforcement. The failure to follow basic procedure cast doubt on the legality and intent of the operation. No amount of legal contortion or public relations spin can undo the facts. Dr. Addison's home was raided under highly questionable circumstances. If the actions were truly lawful and above board, why did the National Security Coordinator find it necessary to call and apologize to Dr. Addison via the phone of Mr. Richard Jakpa? If there was no wrongdoing with the conduct of the security officers, what exactly was the apology for? And perhaps more importantly, if that apology was authorized, is Mr. Jakpa being entirely honest about what transpired? Attempts to sanitize this action by claiming he had access to legal counsel does not and would not address the fundamental question. Was the raid a necessary and lawful one? Or was it an abuse of power designed to intimidate and humiliate? The minority in Parliament firmly believes it was the latter. The Attorney General is an officer of the court. His interest is to assist the court in dispensing justice when investigators bring their case and evidence. The posture of the new AG undermines this rule. He is no longer acting as an officer of the court, but is instead acting as someone who has conducted his own inquisition, determined guilt of a suspect, and is seeking to force his view or his views on the courts. The practice undermines the role of the Attorney General and undermines the administration of justice. All well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on it to and to an end, and to end it now.
Yɛtoa kasebɔ no ɛso na soafo ya wɔhwɛ ɛma ne nkwada yɛ die so nipa nyina yɛ die so Honorable Dr. Agnes Namomo Latte ɛna wɔde ato dwa sɛ Kumasi dum na anu adare ho sɛm a esiye no ahomete pa na ne nyina mu no wɔbepie mu asante mantem ha ɛkɔ beebi a asɛm no si ya wɔno nso ɛde n'ani kurotwa mansan akɔhwɛ bie na wɔkasae.
Mame Momo Latte edine ni kwetwa wisi ebehwe PZ biaya ahye no we ye no ne nsɛmtwerɛfo twetwe nkɔmɔ no so bɛka kyɛdwedifo no sɛ wɔsrɛ wɔn sa dawoma mo tie yɛse bia na ni na ɛyɛ propaganda na mum ɛhyehyɛ mapa ɛyɛ asantementem so afɔ de gu akwam so bɛsan asi dwadi bia no ɛde ama wɔn no ɛhɔ ɛna wɔn ma wani ɛnkɔ sɛ ne bɛyɛ wɔn ha no nyinaa ɛto ebetwa sɛ no de to dwa.
Before be when disaster comes like this na yɛ ɔmo koko season regional minister Dikan omo faso edi awiawia nkrofo niama sebio. The other side of it omo agenda omo be fuele some propaganda, and they will push it through the youth, they will push it through the women. Adia say can obiania, and yet the time who be push your agenda. It is only insensitive people who will do that. And to mess remo, any information that comes to you now, weigh the information and sana won't be biasia. Thankfully, you have a regional minister who operates an open door policy. He's accessible by the people or to the people. He listens to everybody. You see, up to now, I've seen how he's interacting with almost everybody. Approach him and the team. No munye intrechre asia mamu. Let's focus on getting the fire quenched and then sitting down to see what we can do together to get the place in shape and then businesses moving.
Enwechino ena CEO a oda maslo kwano. Eya mame Abigail Elom Mensa wono so ekasaye. Ekyere se asem a asie no asefem pa na mum. Wo besere dwadifo se wonka na komanto oyem. Esan se eya osofo a wohwe enkwada ne maye die so. Wo behwe amagana ban atumi asan pagya wo mu agya mo na so. Sei no so de tudwa.
Yebehye edwadifo ne den se enye si awie enti se de aka ne se yebehwe se ne a omo be sori na senior minister kan no maybe yentimi mfo omo nsi be gina na omo gina no efimfiti ase no, but at least senior yebetimi aso omo nsem na omo nso omo etimi ahya ase efi baabi na omo asan abuild omo adwuma. The assurance I want to give them ne say enya ade a aban ba betena se ahwe omo ama omo nko omo go through sa process ye best start with them and we'll go with them throughout. So say ye be who say at least baby omu gina say no omu ankasa omu betimi aye omu adwuma enti especially a man senior minister kan no we are with you through it and me man ni mebunu no so we are with you through it send there was a maslock ye bia senior be ya monso monsa ebetimi asan akoma no biom no ye beboa.
Yada so agina sare ho semo ana no esiye efieda wadum no mu na Ashanti Regional President Emma Ghana Union of Traders Association etwanitiawa eka ne se guta Owura Anthony Opon eno no so ede atodwa se asemo a ato ne de hye ne manfo no emu oya emu de papa nanso wo mo so begina akonkoden esefata bia ede abo adwadifo a wono mahwere wo mo niema.
Mr. Opon kasa ana woche mu se wani ne mpanimfo bebo modia epini Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amwakohene ama meeting ahodo esafata no mu atimi aye tane be ya omanfo sika dosopo a wahwere ene wo mu structures ahodo a ahyehye no wo metumi asa abo sankrofo ni na ama wo masori agyan wo na so woto ne kasa so no chese obese adwadifo no so bia nka na komanto ne yem esan so mbehwe ama obi a chefen wo no ne nsa atumi aka
na yen kasa anapeye na tisi de sene enyina enim no atowure nchema etoye na no fiada ewo Kumasi hanom yenuanom omo blue light hanom omo containers ene omo shops a ni nyina ahye omo japade omo dwetire kuta omo enyina ahwere wo no ena na pay ye dwadifu nyina ekubatan wo regime no yentimi nyeni na yese ye ba na ebe mo nyina ya akọ na ebe mo hyedin na yehwe etutu omo anu hwe ekwankora ye befa so na yesi echi ebetimi abase ye pese si hanum bi mo mba ye munwuma de di kan sika fam ene sene ebesi esi hanom na ma obi ansa aka ne shop amotimi aye ne dwumadi na ye ho ahenhan no enu nti na pay mo hu ye wa hanom ne de enu nti pa ne titru nti ye wa hanom na pay nti ene leadership ni nyina kasa ya ka tro mo so mo ntrotu ni pa na no mo nyina din various associations ni nyina obi anim ne members na mo fa ni nyina ama yen nyame ya aduma ochina ye ne regional minister o meeting our resec ye kwa ye hu pitanwudi ani bedi titru ye di kan ye president ano ho ba obo ye nse obebo ye nuanom no fa kwan be so na aba ya de srede ne se bi enkoye gikodidi na emo se bia soft loan bia aba no de be mo se mo fa nya adwuma na musika mo dwotre hye no se be ya mbetwetwa na kakra interest rate ne be ba fo ma mo na ni padudu a tuntuma ko mo guar mo ma hwero mo dwotre no enkoye se mo nyina bebo asesa ane na mo ntenso
enu achi no na adwadifo won niam ahye no ebido o ma no tum no mo kyerese won mo de won ani da so nyina eye asante hene obesere se won mehwe won asem yi tane ebe ya o niam afiri won nsa no won sabetumi asan aka
ani bre obi boko jana na abre tepesi ekohu yana na opem so e boni dia na abu mu ase ono na kambia kuntum kantan boho ono na ka ejina ode na no to sa asem so e jiri se yana na bia be boko ebi se susu se yate bebre bet yate emfan kansem yase emfan kansem ti yesrese mpanyimfo a omo ka bia yeyie no omo moa ye ne nsanya asase no back
yana na wono de ye nim so oyo abadaye sante hene wotumfo wote kwakwa so won de ono na ya ni to nanim omra wopie ni yana na mabua ye ene Ghana wo mo ka bia wo obia wakabie won bia won pie mabua asanteman
Yefri arahosemi so na yenko emfifini mantemu budumbrem ewo gomoa isimensi ni mu na chese emfifi mantemu asem na making amane boy free ho ba kire se enipa bebro empemienu 2000 en wo mu su etwa adwadwe na wono mosem nyina ne se asase a wo mo cheso 50 acres na se ka wo ka de ye pa de ye 200 plots asase no wo mo cheso ye chese wo mo nya bebi a wo mo di wo mo tito kakra nanso mo chemu a enipa bi afa kwan bone so ato asase no ama businessman bi a ene ya de kono a businessman na hyase e ka che wo mo se wo mo ntufri asase no so no 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 mo chese so wo mo ntufri asase no so a hemfa no wo mo kɔ sanse wo mo do so pa ena niema wo mo aye e wa asase no so no nya asem kuma afen so asase no kura ya ton no e kwan bone so illegal way e no mo fa so mo ton de ma papa enti no mo sere se aban enke bi ema wo mu
adwuma se woye na anadwe se woye no anopa yehu enti omama yete kasan nansia na yete kasan de obi se wa register wampa yakuma na yakuhu krata bi a ochede obi se wa register ho a ohini biara nsan ni na wa register so nya bandamuda no de yekọ yitu anamo na ma lands commission fu baye survey na yekọ for proper search. This year, I be a year to call Lands Commission. You would a search report. Search report no bani who you put the money and Rassamna. Yet you had not from Braquano, ma, a bank in a did them and Brassa. See you good there, you should shut the margin. See, yet on Lands Commission report. That's a report to ma. Yet I ever does so. Never be record to her. Coffee, your forgery. What's answer my document? Wabla me de fu ma me ya farm me penfo so wo adwuma na yeto na wo ye de adwuma wo fie yuda afi boto anamon foforo a yeso ye bobo aban ma nso watu mahuza orokodo obuburem na sa mba ne sa eba ma krom kra jija aja wa ye wo hon ya ja o ya sefem am penfa ye wo yenyim wo hwe kra te atwe abon pusa yeso ye ntra ho ma ya de hye onwiwi ye be ye jo se ma ya de hye wo komato yi mo ye ba bi pada
yeti yaren say bebe yet no asase na hɔ na obi atɔ atuaka mo akwa register wɔ ne dim until last week ye meeting landlord fin na ye meeting omo de pipa no batu ye nim pipa no kyerɛ sɛ onipa na ɔtɔ ne din de Emmanuel Sam Brown or register asase no awɔ 31st August 2021 by register 50 acres into wa wote budumram asase no suna no ɛsɛ wɛ de utufuo
yes na abamra ye papa John Dramani Mahama yes say omra semwe mu any police pen ye say wayi no omblem
wadi adaboye eni ti say omapen woti yankasa na ye say bibi say ana yɛn ahye yɛn ho be bulldozer 10 be du krodua mu a yɛbɛhye ne 10 enti nana bi a wo hyɛ ase bia no yɛahwewie sɛ na bɛyɛ
program mais yanya yabesisi dan yefira kwantu owo so ne de nifte chiri pro na mo manya 72 me yada me san ko boss ye bi e wo ba bia na me san committee me ni aduma bia ye na yo operation ko enti me sra ya papa edoma ombere mo mai
na ekobi anase ekueku ahodo ye wasantemem hanomo womo afrensem trofo enhyiemu ekui eye Asante Kotoko Society, Asantemai Community Foundation, Afia Royal Society of Asante Researchers, womo ne tano of Forest Belt ni munipa en womo akabo mo ne womo frensem trofo enhyiemu na womo kyerese abai ene womo tena se eye nhyehyɛ bi se eyade a Ashanti Bauxite Limited no enkaban no ebejemu ama womo anase obelisi ama womo se de be ya womo betumi aye adwuma ewo so nanso besi sabre womo ntehwe ne no ene womo de adesrede eto aban a wote so enimu se nkententem wono fa asem no nkopie mu omrahye bedwafie nanka emrahye bedwafo no so ensan ase kama nanka womo mehye wono adwuma ase.
Charles Wilberforce Nuakun ono eno ye kasamafo edemakuo no kasa chemu se eye sa initiative no eyade a eda Ghana mrahye bedwafie every 8th parliament no eye July 16, 2024 nanso ebesi ne enyade ampenifo atumi aka ho asem se ne be ya betimi amakwan ama wa start won dwumadie eno ena wo mo kire se wono mu hia pa se aban ebeje sa agreement no atum ama ABL atumi ahye ne dwumadie ase anase ye contract no na aban ansam fa ma campaign bia ama na ama ho se wo ba be two box side no owura nuako ekasa chemu se sa agreement a wono mo eye no agreement a eye crucial pa nke wo sesebe omafo no astati edi dwuma se ne be ya take holders ahodo a wono betimi aboa ama dwumadie no akotote no komo ahya ase a wono mo edi won dwuma na ebetimi kra so aboa ediska be so omafo no ebotom na kroma ne bi so nya dwuma ne bi aye ama na aboa wono sei no chechemu efa ya bra wono mo efrensem trofo
Nami oduma kwa chedi a odi ache wo nyine hine no yeti nyine hine box site ho asem no ne ba wo esuhia yeta no o se de ye ne ye eti muna munnim the quantum of box site e wo form ho mo se edo so pa na box site no so eya ahodo mi hensa na wo Ghana ha awaso de ne yetu ye kra na maami ya ba ya abepemone na we so de ya ka eda ho ye ne ye elementary geography ni akeka kire wo na brene du sese ye de yedi enti yenuanom bi nsoso akeka wo mu nia adesua wo mu sua niema ndia wo mu wo wahwe nkrata ni mu ahu se efata akoduru se parliament no kura duru ho ya faari na ye ya beto floor of parliament na ne oye ohwe the business for a particular city no dia ba no en sebia so teno na yesre yeni tu yeni ejan yesre se yanu ya na de beka yesre mu yensu didi eye obi ye garden boy obenya adwuma wo ho obi epe ochima ya obenya adwuma wo ho yen kokoro ekura se oba bi ko e de anka akone na ma obi beto ama ono so de emfaso ni bi abafia mo onye bi edi eti yesre sa we nu kura na ehemu no ena etwa ye yikura se na se yinu anu aso mbe yesa de wo ho de a na ye ya na bibi fire so de nta ye ni abere no we de eti ye na ye wi aye ko ye refinery no wo awaso na ye de kakraka ni nyina ya soa e de enu kura se ya komu eti yesre wo
ye kwaye nim na komsheni ba we de ye chese wono de komsheni ba wo sha wo mpa wo shankasa na so nyame adom wo de adom achede soronko amano a wo de ye nyankopon adwuma na owo Victory Cross Prayer Ministry ye wo asenso chechere ye friend Victoria Boaten Victoria edi ni birthday eno chi so wo chese efiri se nyankopon esra ne ho a obeye nkomsheni no envinhia makodu na enie eno nti no wo hye ho fa na afahye no ase ene wode twidwa wo kyese no kwasem ne se ene maye aba se ne esifa ye ho no eya na enye kura obehya atade ketekete ukoka ho asem a wose amawe sebi na ne toma nyina egu abontene ne nufu nyina egu abontene ye ntade hyem no enkoyie eno nti wode afutuo emma ene mmemma se ye hyentade a ye nhyɛ de se ene de fata ekire se ye Kristofo a ye nam asase so.
Victoria Boatin abaye kuma bia eweye mremu nyankopon ede ne ye adwuma ewo Victory Cross Prayer Ministry ewo asanso chechewere ode afutuo ama ne mfefo enkenka emebru no kwan efa so yesiesie ye ho Kofa bai ene odanu deni a odi asafuyenim ene Victoria Boatin ononso ekasaye
o kasa ma ebemu no e ma yefi o mo no mo pe odi for na obi de ni die ma no de ni pro school bi ntese bo school ni di wo be kwai sante be kwai na o ka kire ni ti ni bi se tita no hu se rest at taro ho ti kan di akwa na tem o so fala de kakra eti obodu fi no se ma ne de ti me mani ewu pa o na me se de ma ti kan hu se rest at taro bi ta ho me se me ka ke me se odi di matem se me kan be ye e fi zu koma o ti mo bi wa ma ya menka me kan me ni me ho e do me no de nya me se ono se kana ani wa kan dina a weekend adia che if weekend ma Monday or Saturday no ko na bita no enya accident na Saturday no so di zo no street na so na bita no e pa na che say mommy me sorry o kai no me da wuti ye pa che na de na menya me fi sa kwanche we mu no ma na kwanche no ye na me fi school no na ha me de ne ba sa teachers no o show mo nko ma ne bam nti obi anda o te na dom na obi e mo ne bayi ize o ha o ne bayi a wa za wa da ho betro asema okay abam ya de ko ka se wo bayi
Abushanfo ye ko edwedie kase bomu na Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Esiama and one members of the policy committee na se wo mo hwe sikasem ntotoye no wo committee one wo akwakohia na ehyiamudie ni nyina ne se wo hwe kwan befa so a ye sikasem betumi ejina ne naso eno echi so inflation rate na edru bebi ana apagya kosoro edru bebi so ana ate abafom no ni nyina wo di ho nkomo ahwe kwan a wo befa so a eno so ebegina brane
Mampening abedi achiri Her Excellency Nana Opuku Ajiman Epau Committee fufuro a imprimbring da Bank of Ghana jumediano na won ahwe aye Ghana ho sikasem to train nen aboa mama ni sikasem no etumi agina ne nanso na ene da edikan a imprimbring opening a wonen na woye governor eda Bank of Ghana ano Dr. Johnson Esiama Asia committee no da edikan no da to woni ma kire se ye hyai ahoro a wode atugua no woye won afemu de sade be ya trimupon ne adwenkyira ahoro a enen Omangni team efa Bank of Ghana won dwumadi a won akatakata so no won atumi adnedi ama mansan nyinara ehu.
Now, although this is my first MPC meeting as governor, as you know, I am certainly not a stranger to the process. Colleagues, as we begin today's deliberations, let me reflect briefly on two institutional areas which I believe we can further strengthen going forward. And that's to do with the transparency of our decision-making process and also the communication of our forward-looking guidance. Colleagues, I'm proposing that we implement mechanisms to make the committee's decision factors more accessible. We need to explain the issues better to the public, whether this means publishing the voting outcomes of members or enhancing the narrative content of our policy statements. These changes, colleagues, in my view, will strengthen our credibility and will deepen trust in the policy framework.
Na ene ngachi ena osan de tuga biu echere say imbrembring inflation ewo magnimu no akosoro yi akwakoduru 23.0% na ewo se wo ye won afem de sade be ya eso ebetumi atewo.
Now, colleagues, turning on the macroeconomic context in which we are meeting today, while inflation is easing, I'm sure you have gone through your blue books. It remains uncomfortably high, and I must emphasize the word uncomfortable. Remains high at over 23%, and progress has been slow, particularly on a month-on-month basis. For instance, structural drivers of food inflation remain persistent. The external environment, colleagues, is another area which, though currently supportive, is becoming increasingly volatile. We've seen a strong trade surplus, and we've seen some solid reserve buildup, as the data in the Blue Book will show, and these on the back of gold exports and remittance flows.
Ebusia yenjina weso na yentwe homra yeba Solomon Carter ede yebekọ agudie mu nsemu afei yebekọ edidie kase bomu ne yakọ amonone nsemu.
when him say, Sapa say, Cassia, that's always a see that. The thing goes good. She tell me no kissing, no touching. I tell him, say, I'm mad over you, girl. Why you want to like that? And there's no people, no fun. It's PKISSING, girl. Now she wanna give me.
Yeah, family, Timo, cause all the time, it be me. Me kwame rapping you news to be my police near what you be. A toss on no phone, so I'm in po. So I didn't know what I'm yeah, now do some of my press and for me, I don't get me again up near Quincy. So what Pia Pona Quadrant Otabende, watching what it's Pina Bono as a reference at the Apana Test upon a boss upon your foul, young Prophet Money Day at Argentina, now Arojo, what Pina Pona Tampaso, better call, what Tina Ponso.
Say Kofi entry and so baka say on any brother Sami enya adwen wasa kwan ne so.
Okay, kakra ba kan say brother Sami a kire na adwen.
Oh sir.
Na adwen na wa kire. Na adwen na wa kire ba de no nkire say gospel musicians na omo ba no. Kokosua no. Statement o make statement bi.
Okay.
Also your gospel musician na o pese unya sika.
Unya sika.
Now that means a sikanti no no ye.
E wono na tire ma adwen no.
Now that is no gospel na what to nyame. Se utie statement no make e de na nyame na afre so beto nyumo.
Debbie.
Because o say so your gospel musician na o pese unya sika. Sua. The now that means o pese o kire me say o to nyum no charge ana say o ye den ana obi nsua no.
O say nyuma ye boy a business.
The all Canada no cray. A business all right. But they say Kasabi or Honum near can you know mobile you're very careful. No musutini suya the Bobra.
Okay.
Statement say we a gospel musician now pese unya sika suano. Why ben on fasun suano? Not the pan of pese suya. Dear no pese suya. Yen suya said the way we are worshiping no be anya na.
O si yen suya so benya sika. O pesika mo man suya no.
So benya sika dia onti as ye say you will be an kwa nyame fa so peja no.
Okay.
You be an kwa nyame fa so eni e bi kura wo beka so bi nsuan. Nipa ne beba be suan so onyeska. Because sika duro kura ye je kura no obi kwa emfa. Obi so be kwa be fa. But what dem go say enti obi betimi abesuan all right. Enso onyeska.
Okay.
E bi kura wo ba bia wo fa ye na ne kwan a wo fa so ju sika no obenya sa sika no ntimi fa mbobra. Onya. Enti no me kakra mpesa me kan say state
Ewusia na otwetwe mu ana no memenda na chese krom ha na neck president pa ene ehiafo edi areho mesika fonso so esre de omunsa buru omu efuru so sanse amafo kire cars kire ntare ene wo kire ahode ankasa ne nyina eye bill CEO Ru Richard Nikwe ama the birthday the 40th birthday a odi hye so ene woto nsafre esika fo ma Nigeria fo kwa efri amanone ebebe pie mu a di private jet ne ade ebebe pie mu e wase ne chese aye nije na aye areho so ama wa wenya invitation na performances ahodo ekoso e wo birthday na se yenhwe if you know be kalala if you know be kalala
so na ife ni jede kasia ye bo ano e de be som wo kasebo yi so ni na ensi medi de na nama intifo na Afia Broni ewie kasebo no e wo amanone madawase amomo no hwa abro
Abushanfo emo nyina akwa baabi om de edri ye kɔ enkrofo amanso na wokopie mu e wo tekia yese eye demonstration chenchirenche bi akoso ama nipa a wodo mo akire wo mo no enya asem keto akra ne nyina ne se Istanbul wo mo meyo baako eyade a aposifo ache no no manfo ne kyese wo mo gitum sa enye yie ene se wo mo koye demonstration ne yache wo mo nso yi
Chia teki aban ache mayor awo Istanbul eklem mamogru atum aka hu bi ama nipa mpempempa na ate won wagu montene so a bese enanum nie enya ade atimi ada enkra e free mu batwe mu a nipa bese 1100 ene mpenfo atimi ache mu a emu bi kra eye nsemtrefo a okọ se okọ akokova demonstration enum ena teki mana de shedodo na ache mi se eyeyi a CHP amonyeko na ekoyi owura eklem se onna 2028 obedi wanim amwakọ abato so ena omampani Recep Tayyip Erdogan efronti na onam so achi opani akanwu bi ama amanwudo bi se Germany Greece ena European Union nyina de ababeto Turkey mananim se onhwe se beye obema kabimem kabia mamu aye adwuma na wontietia obia efa ahodie so ewo manim
ye korie ewo Vatican City nansei ene beto odwase Pope Francis oyare ye woda ayasabia na wo mkobo mpaye nyina ma no ma chese na mpaye ni nyina ne se wo msire nyankopon se nyame ensa na yare na enei amanebo ya babeka yensa echese nyame adom Pope Francis ne hoye ama wo no yi ne fra ayasabia ho no mo a okofie
Enidi sempa ena ekoso ewo Vatican ewo Rome Italy memu wa bra ekoba se Pope Francis penia oda Roman Catholic asafo ano ne ho dodo no kakra no kodi na wotwe enum ewo ayasabia no empanifo ayi opani a watimi abafie enum ena Dr. Sergio Afieli abetwem se sabre nya de opani ne ewo pneumonia yade ni biem nenso hu behia pa se be sa abosomi mienu de Pope Francis betimi atena fie no wage na home eno beboa ama no ho atimi atoni pa akanwu bi ama mayor ema Rome Roberto Guatielli enso ababechemi se ni pade do pa ena tegu montene so na welcome Pope se odumfo no aye na doma ne ho atono na ukopie mu Pope ono ankasa ni kru Argentina memu dia na akwakoye ani
Abushia yemfa seda ema Bosheba Electricals wo mo ne soya sene nwumremi etumi de kaseboe ebremo na wo penkane ahodo corner light gate light garden light ne nkane bia ye de siesie fie ema fie ya kono eyefa Bosheba Electricals eno chi ope cameras bi ti CCTV cameras ene ni cables ahodo a ni nyina no Bosheba Electricals ko TikTok anase Instagram enema no etwegu ho nti wo hia de wo pa na wafre untumi mampo a yebeye ni delivery ama ofefefe obetumi abanso a ye nkrabata ne ye miensa edum PZ ye ne kedetia ene di hwani mu afei antiata akofo building mu nsu behu yen ena oba eye PZ enasa oba edum prison so about hanso a obehu Bosheba Electricals number no 03220 Promise Herbal ese ope enku samana eni nnuru ahodo a ye de ye nipedua emane ye kama fa mepacho Promise Herbal ye wo Oyerepa dan yi mu a prison so about here na opedudu etu a number ni 0535544681 Newman College Department of Nursing and Etonsa Afrewe wo mo se oba courses ahodo na no mo ye BSc Nursing top up for RGN Diploma Nursing and which is certificate in Nursing registered assistant clinical ni nyina wo mo ye bi e wo no maso ye Ghana Tertiary Education Commission age wo mo atum Nursing and Midwifery Council age wo mo atum wo mo ne University for Development Studies and akabo mo a wo no mo adwuma enunti atwema tetima kumase wo mo ben kwada so ana 0574 661 117 Express Group edi wu tu kwan akọ enkrofo amansom wo kọ UK Canada Australia USA anase ama ahodo bi so a Express Group sebra na wono emo emfa wonko na ne connection fo no adosododo enti Express Group fo no na mekanfo ama wo wono mo asafo labor runabout enkranfo ebekọ first light kaneshi na obefre wo mo e wo 0555 550067 nenu achi no na kire se yemfa kasebo no ensi ha na yensori so emadwumadi aka emeto aso medi ede nana Afia Broni papebi yamamu nyina mo enihwa adehye